Contrary to popular belief, a meme is not just a picture with text on it. There's a special category of beliefs called memes. The word meme comes from the Greek word memea, which means imitated thing. Memes are to ideas as genes are to physical characteristics like hair color, height, or eye color. A meme is an idea, belief, or behavior that is passed from one person to another. We get many of our earliest memes from our parents and from our family. Later on, we may pick up memes from our friends, our teachers, our culture, and our society. Taken together, our memes make up our belief system and the way we deal with others. Here's an example. If English is your native language, you probably learned it from your family. If you had been raised in a family that only spoke Spanish, then Spanish would be your native language. Your language was handed down to you from the people who raised you. You learned the language through a process of imitation by repeating the sounds you heard. The people who raised you taught you your native spoken language. But there's also another language that they taught you, your emotional language. Your emotional language is the language you use to deal with relationships. The language you use to express emotions is made up of the memes you inherited from your parents, guardians, and other loved ones in your life. The vast majority of memes that we inherit are good and productive memes. They help us to function in our daily lives. But sometimes the memes we inherit lead us to consequences we don't want. For example, if I have a meme that says that my spouse must make me happy, and my spouse is okay with that, then there's no negative consequences. But what happens if my spouse gets tired of bearing the burden of carrying my happiness for me? In such a case, if my belief, or my meme that is that my spouse must make me happy, and my spouse has grown tired of trying to make me happy, then the consequence will be that I cannot be happy unless I learn to be responsible for my own happiness. If that's the case, then I need to change the meme, my spouse must be responsible for my happiness, to something more productive along the lines of, I must learn to be responsible for my own happiness. Memes are made up of three components. What is the problem? Why is this a problem? And how is the problem maintained? In episode 13 of Mindful Moments, we discussed the ABCD model of action, belief, consequence, and dispute. The only thing we have direct control over in the ABCD model is the belief. We may indirectly change the consequence by changing our belief, but we can't directly change the consequence. Likewise, we can have no control over the action because we can't control what others do or say, nor can we control what life throws at us. So the only thing we can change directly is the belief. We do this by dispute, the D of the ABCD model. We challenge the belief that led to the consequence we didn't want, and we try to replace it with a belief that will lead to a better consequence. Note that this act of disputing the belief is a process of trial and error. Changing a belief is no guarantee of getting a better consequence, but it's certain that if we don't change the belief, we will continue to get the same negative consequence. Making a change isn't an automatic recipe for success. We can, however, make educated guesses as to how we might change our beliefs in order to get the consequences we do want. Once we've found a belief that might lead to a consequence we do want, we troubleshoot it before implementing it by asking what sort of things might go wrong if we change our beliefs. By making a plan to cover any potential misfires, there's a greater chance that the changed belief will work to change the consequences as well, to something more to our liking. If your memes or inherited beliefs are leading you to consequences you want, then nothing needs to be changed. If, however, you have memes that are leading to consequences you don't want, you have a choice. You can change them to something more conducive to positive consequences. The first step in changing a meme is to examine the components of the meme. As stated earlier, there are three basic components to a meme: the what, the why, and the how. In the what phase, we look at what is the problem. The what component is usually the meme that is causing the problem in the first place. Let's use the example of my spouse must be responsible for my happiness as the meme we're trying to change. The second step is to look at why is this a problem. The why component of the meme indicates why the meme is leading to the consequence you don't want. In the example, my spouse must be responsible for my happiness, the why component is my spouse is getting tired of being responsible for my happiness. The third phase, or the third step, is how is the problem maintained? Sometimes the attempted solution to a problem only serves to make the problem worse. So for example, if I believe my spouse must be responsible for my happiness, but my spouse has gotten tired of being responsible for my happiness, I might try to solve the problem by insisting even more that my spouse be responsible for my happiness. I might even resort to blaming, shaming, and guilt-tripping my spouse in an attempt to get her to take responsibility for my happiness. But the more I try to force her into taking that responsibility, the more tired she gets of being responsible for it. My attempted solution to the problem is only serving to make the problem worse. Insanity is doing the same thing in the same way and expecting different results. So if what you're doing to solve the problem isn't working, then doing more of it isn't going to work either. The first step in changing a non-productive meme into a productive meme that generates positive consequences is to identify the components of the meme using the outline we just discussed. Picture a triangle. Triangles have 3 sides. All 3 of those sides are connected to each other. If you take away one of the sides of a triangle, it falls apart and it's no longer a triangle. Furthermore, since all the sides of a triangle are connected to each other, if you change the length of one side, the other 2 sides have to change as well. Memes have a similar construction. Looking at the what, why, and how components of a meme, we can see that if one side is changed, all of the other sides are changed as well. Furthermore, since all 3 components are necessary in order for a meme to exist, if one component is taken away, the entire meme ceases to exist. This will be further explained in later episodes, but for now, just think about the fact that since there are 3 sides to a triangle and 3 components to a meme, a triangle can be constructed with one component of the meme on each side. One side of the triangle would be the what component, another side would be the why component, and the base of the triangle would be the how component. Once the meme is graphed out in this fashion, then taking away one of the sides means it's no longer a triangle. So if one of the components is altered or removed, it eliminates the meme altogether or completely changes it to something different. Changing one of the sides changes the 2 remaining sides, and therefore the meme is changed as well. So if you have a meme that's leading you to consequences you don't want, and you graph that meme out as a triangle, you have 3 separate chances to change the meme. You may change the what component, the why component, or the how component. By changing any one of these components, the other components change as well, and the meme is altered. When the meme is altered, the consequences of acting on the meme are altered as well. The basic template for all meme triangles or meme triads is the generic meme triad. That is the what is the problem, why is this a problem, and how is the problem maintained. There's 2 types of meme triads. There's the problem-focused triad, which we just talked about, and the solution-focused triad. The solution-focused triad will be discussed in greater depth in future episodes. The principle for all of these meme triads is the same. Memes are changed by changing one of the components. The next several episodes of Mindful Moments will explore how to change non-productive memes using meme triads.